I didn't. Go ahead. I'm
Well,
gonna do it from the
we're live.
computer. I need to send that link. Go ahead.
Okay, guys, we're live. And as usual, phones ringing, all kinds of stuff's going on. I welcome everybody to a very special edition of the Bassin Magazine podcast. Bassin Magazine, guys. Bassin Magazine is the official magazine of the Weekend Angler. With us tonight, we have two very special young men. They're high school students and bass fishermen extraordinaire already. I have none other than Conner Dawson and Matthew Rome from none other than Central Louisiana. Central Louisiana is about 6 miles away from where I live, right across the Great Amite River. How are you doing tonight, you two young men?
We're doing great, and we thank you for having us on this show. It's an honor.
Yeah, thanks for coming, guys.
With us tonight, we also have Brad Yule from Bassin Magazine, and of course, I'm Jay Angel. I will be your host.
This is our special Thanksgiving week podcast. We skipped last week, but we didn't miss a week, so here we go.
Yes, and we're very these two young men. You guys have an announcement, and I want to hear all about what happened a couple weeks ago down at Joy Ron's, down a tournament you fished out of Joy Ron's Landing.
Well, it was a slow day. We were fishing a cold front. Everybody knows that's slow. It was a slow bite. We caught some fish early in the morning because that was really before it got cold. That was kind of right before the front came through, and then while the front was coming through, it got cold and we didn't catch. I don't even think we caught a fish from like 8 o'clock in the morning till almost weigh-in time. And then the sun popped out and it got a little hotter outside. And then that's whenever he caught that good one. It was probably 30 minutes before weigh-in.
A good one, like a kicker fish. What'd you catch?
Well,
a 9-pounder.
9 pounds.
A 9-pounder. And Brad, I want to tell you about this fish. Joy Ron's Landing is probably 4 miles from the coast. So every 3 years, a big hurricane comes through, the salt water comes up and kills all the bass. So a 9-pounder,
Wow.
It doesn't happen. The biggest one I've ever caught down there, and I fished that area extensively, is 4.5 pounds. The biggest one I ever heard about is 5.5 pounds, and these guys have talked about a 6-pounder they heard about.
They had a 6 3/4 caught at state a couple years ago.
It was 2 years ago, I think.
That's the biggest one I've ever seen out of there.
Wow.
And
So
still, yours just dwarfs.
So you're out fishing and you're in this tournament. You need a kicker fish. What was your strategy to be able to? I mean, granted, everybody wants to catch a fish like that. That's a lifetime trophy, and congratulations. But
Yes.
you're in a tournament to be able to do that. What was your strategy to go find more fish, and how'd you come across this bass?
Well, we had discovered that our pattern was on cypress trees, and so when it got hot, we were like, we have 30 minutes to weigh in. Let's just put our heads down and fish as hard as we can. And I started flipping with a Texas rig, and I went to go pick up my rod, and I just felt dead weight, and I was like, man. So I set the hook, and then whenever I set the hook, it just felt like I had a rock. When I got pulled up, someone netted it, and I didn't know it was that big. I was like, it's a good one, get the net. And then he flipped it. I got it in the boat. He got it in the net, and he got it in the boat. And I had no idea that fish was anywhere. Whenever we went to go weigh in, I still thought it was probably only a 7. I'd never seen a fish that big.
Wow.
No.
Wow. Well, I know in the boat you guys are pumped and excited, but at weigh-in, you did this as a team. I mean, that fish, you could have lost that fish without the net man. So,
right.
That's a team deal right there. That's awesome for both of you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Man. What was the reaction at the weigh-ins and things like that from people?
Everybody was just as surprised as we were.
They couldn't believe it.
Wow, man, that is great. That is awesome.
You had a lot of open mouths, didn't you?
Oh, yes, sir. Everybody was like, what?
What?
Wow. So Texas rig on a cypress tree. Was that your pattern all day? And you, I mean, you said your pattern you found was the bass were on the cypress trees. Were you throwing Texas rig all day?
Pretty much. I mean, we just because like again, it was a really slow day, and we were just fishing really slow and just putting our heads down and just pretty much just keying in on one area. It was actually in Bayou Millhome, and we would just key in on an area, just put our heads down, not make any runs or anything, and just focus on fishing.
Every tree.
Were you all the way up to a Groves Landing?
We were on the lake end of it.
Oh, the lake end of it. Okay.
Yes, sir. There was some current moving, and I mean, again, it's not like we killed the fish that day. We only caught those 5 fish.
We caught a couple times.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. We did call once or twice, but I think a total of 7 fish.
Yeah.
It wasn't much. I mean, all day, 7 bites. Whenever you think about it, that's not a lot.
Right.
But
Because you start question. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Jay. Go ahead.
7 bites body of water is not a bad day, Brad.
Yeah, I
mean
mean
the fish are spread out everywhere.
Yeah, if you land those 7, I mean, you're able to call. That's at least you got 5 in the live well and 5 to take back to weigh in.
Right.
But at 7, all day long, if you're weighing in at 2:30, at 1, you start questioning your pattern, you start questioning your fish. Are we getting lucky, or are they really up against the cypress trees and that kind of stuff?
Well, we come to our strategy is 1 fish at a time. So the whole day we're looking for 1 fish. Once we catch that 1 fish, we're looking for 1 more fish. We're looking for 1 more fish. And we basically knew that if we just put our heads down and didn't spend time running all over the place like everybody else would, if we just put our heads down, keep our baits in the water, that eventually we'd have to get a bite. And that's what we're chasing is 1 bite. Then we get another bite. 1 bite at a time.
I agree with you.
Yeah, I've never caught a fish in a bass boat 80 miles an hour across the water.
Yeah.
Never seen them.
Exactly.
And even in a kayak, I'm not catching fish. I'm having a hard morning, a hard day, whatever. But I'll throw out a drop shot. I'll throw out something because you're not going to catch if nothing's in the water.
Right. You gotta have a bait.
And yeah, even if you're rethinking strategy, rethinking your day, you're not going to catch anything with nothing in the water. So think about what you're doing with something with the confidence bait. Let's go into that. That's what we do on the Bassin Magazine podcast. What was this a confidence bait that you guys had?
Yes, sir, it was. I mean, we knew that it was going to be a slow day, so if we had to be fishing all day, just putting our heads down all day and sticking with 1 bait, we picked our confidence bait, which is a Texas rig.
Okay, I can't think. Very few things have caught more bass than a Texas rig soft plastic.
Yeah, I would say 2 other baits: an inline spinner like a rooster tail, and a lipless bait like a rattle trap. That's probably the 2 things I could ever argue with anybody over a Texas rig.
Okay, and guys, if you're tuning in, feel free to ask questions of these guys or just make a comment. Please do. In fact, that really makes a better podcast for us, for everybody.
Yeah, and I'm a little bit late getting on the Bassin Facebook, but like I said, I'm having some computer issues. That's why I'm on my phone. But it's posted out there now, so we'll see if any questions come across.
Okay. And I know I'm not able to post on Facebook right now for some reason, so I tried to announce it again. I announced it yesterday.
Yeah.
We have nothing but technical issues here, guys.
That's
trying to.
One of 3 things for the Bassin Magazine podcast is technical issues, confidence baits, and there's one more issue we'll get to in a little bit that we always try to bring up. So
this is not so you guys obviously.
What was that?
You guys won it.
Yes, sir.
The 8.99 pounder.
Jay, we're losing you again. That weather's affecting your end. Ask again.
So you guys obviously won the tournament.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Oh, okay.
But this isn't the only tournament you've ever won.
That's
sir.
correct.
I got that. How about the other tournaments that you won?
What are some other ones?
Yeah,
Oh,
tell us
man.
about them.
This year we won, a couple weekends ago, we won the Louisiana High School qualifier out of Red River in Natchitoches. We won qualifier, same deal, with 100, almost probably 200 boats out of Dwarons the year before that. And then, what would that be, 3 years ago, 3 years ago?
Right, and then the year before that, we won another qualifier, state qualifier in Toledo Bend.
And
Ooh.
basically, we've
And yeah, as far as local school tournaments goes, we won some last year, but this year we've won all of them except one, and in that one we got second.
That's a pretty good.
Wow.
That's a pretty good season right there.
Yeah.
But do you
Yeah,
guys?
it is.
Is that tournament over and you guys are mad at each other because you were half a pound out of first and knowing, oh man, we only got second?
No, I mean we were glad because there's nothing we would have changed. We did everything. We fished as hard as we could all day. So I mean,
Good.
ain't nothing we would have done different.
Yeah.
Okay, confidence lures. I want to hear about the difference in how you approached everything from Doirons, which is average depth of 3 feet
what was that?
area.
You caught a 9-pounder in the average depth of that place is 3 feet.
Oh, yes.
If 3 feet.
Yeah, it might not even been 3 feet.
Wow. What's
have
the
been
deepest part of that?
The deepest part of
Just anywhere over there.
Yeah.
I mean, there's deep water, but anything that we mess with, we don't mess with anything more than 5 or 6 feet.
So when a hurricane comes through and wipes all this out, I mean, how does this fish survive in 3, 5, 6 foot of water?
I guess just out deep in one of the lakes. I'm not sure where.
It doesn't because water comes in and kills them. The bass can take a little bit of salt water. I have caught bass in the marsh, but you don't usually catch largemouth bass and speckled trout in the same place because speckled trout need salt water and bass just cannot handle salt as much as salt water as speckled trout need.
Right.
Wow.
I've caught redfish and bass in the same place.
Oh yeah, us too.
In fact, usually every time I think I have a 7-pounder hook, it's a freaking redfish.
So that's what I was going to ask you guys. You turn around and you stick this fish and you say, get the net. It's a good one. Did she jump? Do you know it's a bass or do you, I mean, is it, if I catch a fish like that here, I'm like, oh, it's got to be a drum. Let me try to get it up and see if she'll jump.
Right.
Well, it didn't jump. It was kind of close to the boat. So he set the hook and then the fish came to the top of the water and we saw the mouth. And as soon as we saw the mouth, we knew it was a good one. At that point, we thought it was, 5.5 maybe. So I got the net. Yeah, I netted him. We got it in the boat. And then we thought it was 7. We still didn't know how big it was because, I mean, we don't catch fish like that down here.
Right.
Whenever you're fighting a fish like that, it feels like you're fighting a tire or something.
Right.
It just, whenever they don't swim, they just pull.
Yeah. It's dead weight. It is a dead weight.
Dead weight, exactly.
Yeah.
Brad's caught a lot of big bass. He fishes with Chuck Justice, who's the big bass whisperer, man.
Right.
He has 200 bass just in the state of Oklahoma, over 10 pounds.
Over 10 pounds. Yeah.
He doesn't even count the amount of big bass he has caught in Lake Fork, which is probably another 200.
God.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I'm 4 hours and 1 minute exactly from Lake Fork, from the boat ramp, and he Chuck Justice will call and say, hey, he called last summer and said, hey, how fast can you get here? And it's guys, he's fishing in the hottest days of the year in 20 foot of water, dragging 12, 14-inch worms.
Wow.
And I said, I can be there in 4 hours. He said, the bite's on fire, and I got a 14-pounder in the boat. I've released 2 12s already.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Not one day.
What was that?
In one day.
Yeah, that's something else.
Yeah. Just amazing. But he's got it down. He knows what he's doing. He's been guiding a long time. He guides here in Oklahoma on a lake called McGee Creek. It's a big bass lake. It has a slot limit. I can explain that if nobody out there knows what the slot limit is. But
yes, sir. We have a lake that's not too far. It's in Mississippi, Lake Okissa. It has a slot limit.
no,
Yeah.
okay.
When is Okissa going to open back up? I know it's closed right now.
Oh,
I don't think anybody knows the answer. They hadn't said nothing in a while about it.
They're going to
Why
make
is it
a report
closed?
there because they're dredging it out and making it into a big bass lake.
Oh,
And they're getting a resort right there in a marina, and I'm going to be spending a lot of weekends there.
Right.
Searching for my
It's
first 10
a very pretty place.
I know there's there's 5 lakes in Texas that are going to be big bass lakes that they're opening up. That's been closed off, and I guess they open in the springtime. I don't know any of the names or anything, but the Share Lunker program is part of that, and they've got some stuff over
That's
there.
what Louisiana has, the Fair Lunker program, man. That is,
Right.
I just think that is the coolest thing I've ever heard of. We're going to take a bass that we know it has superior genetics, and we're going to breed the crap out of it.
Right.
Yeah.
2 thumbs up, guys. 2 thumbs up to the state of Texas for managing for big bass.
Right. Heck, 2 thumbs up to Connor and Matthew. 9-pounder.
They're fans of
Man.
big bass. Yeah. Of course, those guys don't want a whole lot of more 9-pounders out there. Then they'll have some competition.
Yeah. Have you seen traffic increase in that area? Or does people know where you caught it?
I mean, we haven't really told anybody, but at the same time, we're not keeping it a secret because a lot of people fish in Bayou Millhome, and
it's a big area too.
right.
Yeah.
There's a lot of places.
You don't really ever fish on top of anybody.
Millhome is probably
a very
15 miles long.
What was that?
I think Bayou Millhome is like 15 miles long.
Oh yeah, just Bayou Millhome, there's plenty of places to fish, and I mean you can go anywhere you want.
So it's
I
not
know
just
Bayou
one.
Millhome. I fished.
Right.
It's not just one cypress tree over there in the corner.
No, it's a whole bunch of them. And they're everywhere. And it's not just in Bayou Millhome, it's everywhere over there.
Oh,
There's
man,
probably
that's
close
awesome.
to 1 million cypress trees in Bayou Millhome.
There's a lot.
That's awesome.
And if there were a bass behind every tree, it'd be freaking packed. I'd love it.
Yeah.
That's what I was wondering about your pattern. You said that you had figured out, hey, I mean, they're on these cypress trees. You guys said you caught 7 fish. You called 2. Was this your 5th fish or was this your 7th fish?
It was number 7. It was the last fish of the day. We had made 2 kind of small calls. Maybe one of them was like barely anything, and one of them was like a pound. And then he caught that one, and that was a pretty good call.
What? Yeah,
That was big
that's
help.
man.
Big help.
Did they measure it or anything? I was just curious about inches.
No, sir. Hindsight 2020, I should have. I didn't take a single measurement of that fish. I'm hoping to catch bigger one day. Hopefully.
Yeah,
It'll be like,
yeah.
oh, that's just a 9-pounder. One day.
Did you get photos of it and stuff?
I did get pictures.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. I mean, some of these taxidermists are amazing about doing replicas and things like that. They know a 9-pounder is 24 and a quarter inches, yeah. So
Was Hunter Hamilton at this tournament with you guys?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay.
It was open to any high school in Louisiana that wanted to fish, and we had quite a few, maybe 10 other teams from other high schools in addition to our 15, 16 teams at Central.
15 or 16 teams out of Central High School.
Yes,
Wow.
sir. I believe it's somewhere around there.
Jeez. Central's not that big a place either, Brad.
It's not.
no.
Not that big a place. It's bigger than the town I live in Watson, but
Well, I graduated with 1,300 kids, so
Really?
I was 1,100, so yeah.
yeah. So okay. Wow.
But they didn't have bass fishing teams back then.
No.
back in the 80s, they never would have heard of that.
That's
know.
what
Everybody
tells us
man
that.
tells us that. Every guy. Man, if they had bass fishing when I was in school, I would have never played football.
Right.
Never played baseball.
Yeah.
Every single
Definitely with the
we get that a
wrestling,
lot.
yeah.
You know, I know about 5 guys that I know a bunch of people from high school that they liked fishing. You know, yeah, let's go fishing, whatever. But there's nobody there's probably 5 guys that I know that still fish, or, you know, it's not their job, but it's more of a passion than, you know, the guys that just want to go fish. And you can
Right.
always tell those guys, because I always say this, but how many poles do you have? Well, I fish with rods. So it's a big
I don't
difference.
know how many rods I own.
Right.
35,
Yeah, they got a
40,
lot
I don't
of
know.
our team is younger people. I think we only have 3 senior teams, and they have a lot of new freshmen and people who are just getting started. But
We
Yeah,
got a
good.
comment here, guys. It's
What
from
was that?
Brandon. We have a comment from a viewer. It's Brandon Kleinpeter. He said, "What's
Hey,
up, my
Brandon.
boys?"
How you doing, Brandon?
we just
And
got
Brandon,
done fishing with Brandon.
Yeah, we were fishing with Brandon a little bit this afternoon in some local ponds around here.
Oh, cool.
Really?
Yes, sir.
No 9-pounders.
No, sir.
No,
I
9-pounder. He caught about a 5, and I caught about a 3, and then one that was probably 1.5.
Heck yeah.
You caught a 5-pound bass around Central
Me?
Yeah, in his
Yes,
yard.
sir. In my front yard.
in your front yard. Your front yard was flooding, huh?
That's awesome.
Yes, sir.
So you guys are a senior team. Are you planning to go to college, or?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. We both are.
And are you choosing a school that has a fishing team? Or are you going to start one? What's your angling plans at college?
Well, I'm planning on going to Southeastern, who has a small fishing team, and I'm not sure yet if I'll join it or not. But I don't know. You're going to
I'm going to LSU.
and they don't have one at LSU.
Are you sure?
Yes, they
They
do.
have-
They got a fishing team.
That
at
LSU Shreveport.
Yeah, they have a
Oh,
fishing
no,
team at
LSU
LSU.
has a fishing team.
I know for sure LSU Shreveport does. I don't know about the normal one though.
Okay, no, LSU Baton Rouge has a fishing team. I've talked to
Really? Okay. I didn't know
Yes.
that.
Look that up.
Good.
The big one is up there in
In Shreveport.
Shreveport. Yeah, that's where the really good fishing team is at.
Right. Yeah.
Wow, that's good. Well,
But you know, there
good
are
deal
LSU
on your plans.
Yes, sir.
Uh-oh.
Because some of the bigger fishing teams like Carson Newman, they actually have scholarships. You can't hear me
Wow.
again, can you?
Yeah,
Not for a minute.
you're good. The weather's good. We got you. Yeah, Carson Newman. We got Bethel up in Tennessee.
We had a
Gary
tournament
Mason's
in Tennessee last year. We fished.
Yeah, Gary Mason's a good friend of mine up there. That's pretty good. Carson Newman's a good university. You know, some of these colleges are starting kayak college teams also.
I guess for the people who don't have a boat.
Yeah, you know, so I actually sold and got rid of my boat because I fished out of a kayak more often.
Really?
You can get to places, you're
Right.
stealthier. You know, a boat tournament is cool. You guys are a great team. I know that you guys get along, and you've probably known each other for a long time. But you know, when you're in a kayak, it's you better figure it out.
Right.
And it's a lot of work to load that kayak up and go somewhere else, or, you know, cross the lake and try to a new area. I mean, you better break it down and figure out where you are.
Right.
Where these, you know, in a bass, like you guys did in this tournament. I mean, it's exactly the same. You guys said, hey, we're going to keep our lure in the water. We're going to figure this out, you know, and as a team, you did that. In a kayak, you're doing it by yourself because there's no getting up and going everywhere else. It's all the same.
Right.
Wow. Yeah, you have to know how to break down water if you're going to be a kayak fisherman.
For sure.
And you know, it sounds like Brad said, you guys broke down that area you were fishing in. It's really all you need. Here's Brandon Kleinpeter again. He said, Matthew, got a question, buddy. I saw the fish and all in person, but what was it like, or your mind when you first hooked into her?
What was going through my mind when I first hooked onto her? Well, obviously, I thought I had a goo or a freshwater drum, and I thought I had a goo whenever I set the hook, and it was because it's bass. I've caught 4-pounders. I know what a 4-pounder feels like, but I knew whatever it was big, and then by the time I got it up, I was like, man, that's a nice fish.
Yeah.
I was just mainly what was going through my head is I was just hoping that he could get it in the net because
Yes.
the net was not very big, and I was hoping that
You have an adrenaline burst that got you shaking?
What was that?
Did you have an adrenaline burst that got you shaking?
Yeah. Oh
yes,
my God.
he did.
And and that's fish number 7. You're going to take your small one out. You sit down. You call the fish.
Right.
I mean, you're looking at her in the live well, right? I mean, you got to see
man,
her.
Kept on looking at her and everything else. And
How much time was left?
What was that?
How much time was left before the end of the tournament?
Right at 1 hour.
Oh, okay.
So it was toward the end of the day.
So it's a 20-minute boat ride.
Right. So we only had about 40 minutes to fish, and then we had to head back.
I don't know. I think I would have started heading back just to make sure that fish didn't die.
Yeah, that's what we did. We caught the fish, and we were like, let's just get this thing.
Right. We made a few more casts, and we were like, we need to make sure this fish makes it because there ain't a lot of them over here.
Right. Those few more casts, I mean, your adrenaline's going. It's so, to me as an angler, it's so hard to just go back to the pattern you were in. You feel like you're fishing so fast. I mean, why is I got to catch another fish.
Those probably weren't even.
Those casts probably weren't the best ones.
Right. For sure. That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, and it's good that you guys, were worried about her dying and getting back and keeping her healthy. And, you don't want to lose. You don't want to get second place just because she died and you're penalized.
Right.
So you got to do your first walk like. I know when I used to fish walleyes, and I had 6 5-pound walleye or 5-pound walleyes plus water,
Yeah. Oh yeah. They got this joke everybody says: you either got a lot of fish or a lot of water.
Right.
Yeah. Or he's a bullshitter like me.
Right.
Oh, look, he's got a big basket. Ha, no, I don't.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's go
That's awesome. Man.
What?
Well, guys, I appreciate you coming on. I know Jay appreciates you coming on.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I
We
worked hard to
appreciate you
find
having
these
us.
guys, Brad.
Yeah.
I worked hard, man. I actually asked the question: does anybody know who these guys are? And if
We
you
saw.
can you please put me in contact with them?
Right.
You saw
Good.
that?
Appreciate that.
We appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. Congratulations. That's a trophy of a lifetime. I hope you get bigger, but there'll be nothing like that.
Right.
When you can catch something, in that kind of water that isn't around very often, congratulations, guys.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
And whenever we waited, we were probably just as shocked as everybody else because me and him thinking it's probably a 7-pounder at the most. We put it on the scale, it hits 8.99.
Right.
We got a picture. His mouth is wide open. It's about as big as it can get.
That's exactly what I'd have been doing.
Good. Way good.
I don't think I'd have been able to talk.
What did you say?
If that would have happened to me, I don't think I'd have been able to talk.
Oh man, we just looked at each other and we were like
we were like, did that just happen? We were just kind of confused.
We didn't even yell or say nothing until after the fish was in the live well. We were all speechless.
Like it took a minute to set in.
Wow. Yeah. Yep. That's awesome. That's awesome, man. That's a catch right there. That's cool.
Yes, sir.
Way cool.
Well, you got anything else you want to ask him, Brad?
No, I'm just I want to go down there and fish. I mean, I know you're not going to catch a 9-pounder, but I want to see all those cypress trees.
Man,
it's a great place to fish.
The marsh, like where he fishes, and you can catch 2-pounders all day long.
We're over by Homa.
It's fun fishing. And
By Homa, yeah. What's the average weight of a tournament, and how much did this fish pushed you guys just, I mean, was it a slaughter after this fish, or were you in it with the ones that you culled?
It was that fish made up over half the bag because the total bag was 16.36 or something.
Something like that. And
16 point something.
The average bag in our local tournaments, like with our school, just our school, an average bag is 10 pounds. If you got 12, 13, you'll probably win it. And then with the bigger ones, it's saying 11, 13, 14, 15. If you got 15 pounds, you'll probably
15 pounds, 15, 16, you could be pretty confident with that.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, because you have.
But I mean, a 15-pound bag around here is a very decent bag because to have a consistent bag. I mean, you can catch 4 1.5, 2 pounders, but then you got to have that kicker fish that puts you over the 15-pound mark.
When you put her in the live well and you guys are heading back, you're up on plane. Are you high-fiving like, hey, we just won this?
We were really excited.
This is ours. We just won. Yeah, right. That's great, guys. Man, that's good. Well, congratulations, and thanks for coming on here and telling Jay and I and all the Bassin Magazine readers and subscribers and all Jay's audience from the Let's Talk Fishing podcast. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. We appreciate you having us.
We just got another comment from Cajun Rob, of course, one of our greatest fans. He's anglers with a bright future. He wanted to congratulate you guys.
Thank you.
Cajun Rob probably fishes 15 tournaments a year, so
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So, anyways, do you guys have any shout outs you'd like to do?
I'd like to thank him. I'd like to thank my parents.
Our boat captain.
My dad was the captain in that tournament. His dad takes us on a lot of our big tournaments that we win. All of our sponsors for our school team, all the people who have ever sponsored us, and just my family and Jesus.
Yep.
Awesome, man. So your dad was in the boat to watch you catch it.
Right. His dad got to see him catch that.
Did he say, "Oh, that's only 6.5. It's not 7"?
He was just he doesn't really fish much, so he just he sits back and just kind of watches us, and he was just like, get the net. I got him in the boat, and he was just like, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
That's great.
Oh yeah.
Well, congratulations, guys.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
I'd like to thank you guys for coming on to the Bassin Magazine. Guys, Bassin is the official magazine of the Weekend Angler. And Connor and Matthew, man, you guys, Brad, these guys also work a lot. They fish tournaments all the time. These are, with it, guys. If we're going to do something with their lives, I wish you the best of luck. Please stay in touch with us here at the Bassin Magazine podcast.
Yes,
we'd like to follow your career as you go from the Bassmaster Opens into the elites.
Yes, sir.
So please stay in touch with us. And,
Yes,
I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in to a special Tuesday edition of the Bassin Magazine podcast. And as I say with every podcast, you know what, guys? Have fun. Do this one. So get out this weekend and do some fishing. I want to hear about it.
Yes, sir.
Hey, and readers and subscribers, tune in tomorrow night for another special edition podcast. Got something amazing for you guys again.
Giveaways. Okay, well, thank you. And guys, stick around. I'm going to end the podcast now, but don't leave yet.
Yes, sir.
Random?